Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa, and today is a Mighty Siren Monday, and we've got some special guests with us today. My daughter Carly will be co-hosting with me, and we brought Amy Weir and her daughter Paige to join us. They're going to be joining us in our upcoming book series or book study on boundaries. So we'll be right back right after this. Give us a like and share this video. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. We've got, I just want to do a quick introduction. We've got my co-host for Mighty Siren Mondays, Carly, my daughter. And then today's special guest, we have beautiful Amy Weir, wife to Bix Weir and health guru to all. And her lovely daughter, Paige, joining us as well. And Paige has a lot of passions in the health and wellness, as well as spiritual awakenings, I would say, avenues or realms. So I'm excited to get kind of a discussion on some of those issues too, and growing and learning. I love having a multi-generational conversation. So I'm excited to see mothers and daughters here together talking. I really appreciate you guys both joining us for the Mighty Siren Book Club. This is kind of just a launch on finding some light in the darkness right now and bringing community together to support each other. We chose to start off with the Boundaries book, and we were discussing that it is like a Bible study book, and some people will be really excited about that and love that part of it. Some people will choose to just be part of the discussion part of the other. Either way, this will be a great test of people's boundaries. They can choose to engage in what parts they're comfortable with or what they believe in. But I think the discussion is valid and really helpful. Hold on, we gotta get rid of some channel. Bye. Yeah. Get rid of that. Okay. So where was I going with all this? Oh, so I posted the workbook. There's a link in the description on the YouTube channel to join the Telegram group. It's free to join the Telegram group, and this is just about, like I said, building community and resources and helping people. But I went ahead and posted all of part 1. So the book is in 3 parts, and the workbook has 3 parts. I posted all of part 1's workbook in the Telegram group, so that as you're reading through the book or listening through, Carly, you found an audio.
Yes, I'm an audio person.
Okay. When you get a minute, can you link that, or can you tell us where you found that in the Telegram?
You can literally find it anywhere. I went to like the audiobooks like app on my iPhone and typed in boundaries, and like 3 different things popped up for it.
Okay, cool. Okay. And then I know I think it's Mo. I can't remember Mo's whole Telegram handle, but Mo in our Telegram group posted a link to a free library download of the book as well. So that's another option. But I thought we'd do part 1 for this first month. Since it's 3 parts, this could be like a 3-month series that we could do, and just check in every Monday and talk about, kind of where we are or where are something in our discussion. You can download those workbook pages and use those to talk about. But this first one that we're going to kick off, which we'll talk about at next month's live Zoom call with anybody that wants to engage. I'll post that Zoom link in the in the Telegram group, so people will be able to jump on and we can all chat together on the second Saturday of the month of October. But it just talks about chapter 1 or part 1, you know, what does a boundary look like? And what are boundaries? You know, why it's important to have a boundary. I guess it's mostly what does a boundary look like is the whole chapter 1. And they give that example there. There's an example of a lady's life. I think her name's Sherry. Yeah. Sherry, and she's like completely boundaryless girl. And everyone walks all over her and she's exhausted and she can never get her own stuff done. And it's just kind of a wild thing. And then they ask you some questions and say, you know, where do you see yourself in these actions? And they go on from there. So, Amy, where do you see where boundaries have helped you in your life, putting up boundaries? And you and I are a little further down the road than the girls. We've had more experiences, maybe.
A couple more, yeah, I was going to say a couple more experiences under our belt.
Yeah.
I think I've just naturally have always had boundaries. Just knowing, I guess recognizing my limitations is just kind of my safety net as far as like keeping my boundaries where I want them.
So in relationships and would you see it in your time and everything? You see it everywhere.
You've never found it hard to like stick up for yourself, kind of tell people how you feel and what's on your mind?
Sticking up for myself, yeah, it's pretty easy.
Channel that to me.
I've had some issues in the past with relationships and guys kind of taking it. It was more physical abuse than anything, but just knowing it's kind of, I guess it's just kind of knowing when to say when. Mm-hmm. And it was more, when I put the boundaries down on that relationship, it was actually more out of what I wanted, how I wanted Paige to see what needs to be done when somebody abuses you like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think that's wild. As a mother, I know, you know, I was in an abusive relationship for 20 years and the abuse changed over the years, but it wasn't until I felt like my children were in danger that I felt like this had to stop.
Yeah.
And I think that it really, and then what was for me so tragic was that I had a conversation with Carly once, and you know, I thought I was being the good mom, you know, the good Christian mom, and staying in this marriage, and you stay married, you stay married, you stay married. And she said to me, I said, "Are you okay?" One night things were, you know, really loud, and she said, "Oh, it's always like that. It's just louder now. That's why I'll never get married." And I was just like,
oh. Yeah.
But then you put up boundaries and you met Charlie and you showed me what a relationship looked like. And I got out of a very toxic relationship and into one that's more like you and Charlie's. And just like Amy was saying, she had to do it for Paige. You did it for me. And
yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I'm so grateful that I don't know why. And my older sister did kind of the same thing. In that she wasn't in an abusive relationship with her first husband, but she was in a relationship where, you know, it wasn't ideal or whatever. But she never left until she had a baby. And then it was because it was best for the baby. And I wonder if that's like a mom thing. But Carly, you had a relationship where you really saw this is abuse.
Similar ways of being spoken to.
Yeah.
Where like you were just like, you just took it, I just took it. And then when you were with Charlie, you'd be like, "Nah, I'm gonna say my mind." And then he was backing her up. He was like, "Yeah, she's strong, she's independent, she's this, she's that." And I was like, "I want that, not this." And it took some time and it took a lot of courage, but I got out of it and I'm so much happier now. Like, I wish I could show a before and after picture of like right now of like just what I looked like on the outside, and it would explain a lot of how I felt on the inside. And I just like look better now, carry myself better. I'm happier basically because of boundaries.
Yeah. Paige, what's your experience with having boundaries in your life and having where it's, you know, you've come to a point where you had to either place a boundary or you felt like a boundary really made a difference for you in your life, or you had that example for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think boundaries are very important across the board, but I think one of the places that it sounds like all of us typically learn those first boundaries are in relationships. And I had absolutely no boundaries in my last relationship, and I had I didn't know how to set boundaries for myself. I didn't even know what I wanted. So I think boundaries really represent this deeper level of really knowing ourselves, what we want, how we want to show up in the world, the type of community that we want to have, and especially a partner. So my last relationship really taught me that you need to have boundaries, and it was like very verbally and like emotionally and physically abusive. And I think that was just, you know, from what I saw in childhood and kind of these toxic relationships that both of my parents were having. And, you know, you pick up all the wrong lessons from that along the way, even though you're like, I'm never going to be like you. And then you end up exactly like in the same exact relationships. The pendulum usually swings all the way to the other side. So now in my, you know, current relationship with Josh, I feel like there's tons of boundaries, and just that personal boundaries are highly respected. And it just makes way for a happier, easier life all around. And you know, I feel like you just get to know yourself on a deeper level when you can really know your boundaries and know where you stand, and then like vocalize and verbalize these to someone, and then those are taken with respect, and then like those boundaries themselves are respected by a partner or by a business partner or parents or whoever the end person is. But you know, that full loop of boundaries is really beautiful when everyone can honor them.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Both you and Carly both mentioned it sounded like your personal growth or your identity, and maybe we all said it in here, but that a lot of it is that believing that you matter, or that you have a voice, and finding your voice. And that's what I guess gives you the strength to set that boundary for yourself, to say I'm valuable enough to be protected. And sometimes, you know, so much in the world, you know, they want us to trust the government or trust someone else to protect you. And you're never really protected or free until you're the one doing the protecting yourself.
This book does a lot of that. It made me really think like, oh, I did set a boundary, but I didn't really set a boundary. Like, I maybe set a boundary in my head, but that person, I let them cross that boundary. And like that book, it opened up it made me think so many times where like I thought I had my life figured out, and it makes you really think and work on yourself, and it shows you who you are, and it can help you grow a lot. That's what helped me to do at least.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm hoping for everyone, is that we can all have a little personal growth and be affirmed in how valuable we each are, everybody going through this book study, and that we can have that safe place. I think that's why I wanted to use the Telegram group, where like, okay, as we're, you know, going through, everybody's on different time schedules and everybody has, you know, busy lives, but we could have that place where we could have a discussion of, hey, I was on this question, you know, I was having this thought, or I had this epiphany, or, you know, something like that, where we could kind of be having an active discussion while we're going through the book together as a group. So one of the things that and I don't like Oprah anymore, but back before I knew how evil she was, she used to do these book clubs. And when my oldest sister was alive, she was all over the country, or she'd be traveling to Spain for work or all over. And so that was a way that my mom and my oldest sister and my little sister and I could be connected, was that we would be in a book club together. And so we would, whatever Oprah's book would be, we'd go get the book and we'd read it. And then that way we felt bonded and together, and we were all like-minded and focused on something. It makes me think about like, and whether you want to talk about it biblically, where the two or more gathered kind of Holy Spirit thing, or talk about frequency and energy and focusing on something. I think we're all in this time of awakening and raising consciousness. And if we can do this together as a group and get people like, okay, if we want the world to be a better, brighter, bigger place, and people to wake up but we want it to be in a place of love and safety. And so I think boundaries are the perfect place to start with that. And I think if we do that as a group, that it'll really be beneficial.
Awesome.
We're stronger in numbers. And I think right now, knowing that you're not alone and being able to have open discussions with other people who are either like-minded or not it's so important right now. And I think they're coming after our freedom of speech and gathering together and sharing ideas. And I think one of the most beautiful things about a book club is people pick up on things that you might have not picked up on if you were just doing this alone in your house by yourself. I think you grow exponentially when you're exposed to everyone else's ideas and, maybe what they're working through, and knowing that what you're working through, someone else is as well. And you're not alone in this life and in this crazy world of where we're at right now.
It's easier to be vulnerable when one person is. That's why if I want to get to know someone, all I have to do is like share a little piece of me. And that's like kind of what we can do in this Telegram group, is be vulnerable with each other so that other people can hopefully find the courage to ask the questions and talk about what they need to really probably say.
Yeah,
totally.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, even in our stories, I mean, we're all, saying we've all had at least some bit of a similar experience of, some past abuse in some form. And, you think about how many people think that, are either there, and there is some shame usually typically associated with that. And, some people might think they don't have someone to talk to, or a safe place, or just hearing other people's stories, and knowing that from where we were, we feel stronger and feel like we've grown, and now we know more about ourselves. We're not less than because of that. We realize our value, and we know we're worthy to fight for ourselves and to grow and become stronger. So I just think it'll be really beneficial. So I'm really excited about it. I'm trying to think of, I don't want to get too far ahead. There were like, I was scanning the things and like, oh, we could start talking about this. And I was like, no, wait.
Boundaries, Mom, boundaries.
Boundaries. I know. What kind of boundaries do you guys put on, or what do you find the most difficult to put boundaries on? Like, is it your time, your, I guess we can take turns answering, but your time, your relationships, your money, your health. I know they had a list in here. I should have written down the list. What's kind of the hardest thing for you to put boundaries on, or in what area? Work?
I mean,
friends.
Personally, I'm a people pleaser, and it's not a trait that I hate about myself. I do love that I have that trait. I want people to like me, and I don't want to be the person that's just cold to everyone. But with that trait comes a lot of people walking all over me, and really it's just my like personal relationships, and I'll give people all my time, all my energy, all my money, whatever you want. Like I'm a very giving person, and then I will not get that same energy back, and I will immediately feel like I am dirt and they don't like me and I'm not loved and I'm not worthy. But really, it's just that boundary that I need to work on for myself, and I'm still working on it, even though I'm aware of it. Is don't give people all your time and energy and expect the same in return. You just need, it's like giving a gift. You don't give someone a gift and say, happy birthday. All right, well, my birthday's November 14th, so remember. So, I'm working on that.
So true.
Yeah. So, Amy, what's the kind of the hardest place for you to set boundaries?
I would say family. Right now, just actually, it's more setting boundaries of trying not to get too involved, or thinking that what I have suggested or they should be doing is what they should do. But it's just my dad's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and he's in a care facility right now. And
that's really difficult.
There was a lot of anger issues, and with my mom, not feeling like it was her responsibility, but it's just like, but you could be doing this, you could be trying this, you could take him here, he could try this treatment. But it's knowing that that's I have to stop.
Control it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I would say that's one of my more difficulty boundaries to have to deal with.
It's like honoring family roles or relationship boundaries within the family.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Especially when there's an illness involved where you feel passionate about like that you have knowledge or help because you're well-intended, and that's really difficult.
Just feel kind of more helpless than anything. So but I would say that's kind of my bigger boundary that I'm dealing with.
Yeah. Paige, is there a place where you struggle with boundaries more than others?
I would say with like family and being a people pleaser and
all of the above.
Yeah, I think those combined, it's always that's where I always find like my biggest struggles with boundaries. And then also like on a personal level, really committing to something. I'll be like, I'm like really excited in the beginning. I go get all the binders and the highlighters and like I get really excited. And then I'll look at the coursework and I get really stressed out. And so for me personally, I've been really working on boundaries with like either coursework I'm working through or, personal growth items or even like books that I'm reading. Just really like following through and committing and setting boundaries that are timely.
So this boundary will be a challenge. But that's good because you're challenging yourself.
You're not alone.
You're pushing yourself. Yeah. So one of the things not that we're here to fix each other or any of that, but one of the things I have that kind of same issue. Like sometimes I can't start something because I feel like I can't finish it in enough time, or so then I procrastinate and then it never happens. And so I've learned to like try to break things down into smaller pieces and give myself permission to stop before I even start. And that way, if I get to that point and I still have time, or not, sometimes my issue is time that I struggle with on boundaries. So that's why I'm saying time. But if you have whatever your capacity is, if you still have capacity after taking on that task, then you can say, okay, I was going to stop at this point. And that could be working out or eating or, like I said, time or whatever. But then saying like, okay, I got to my stopping point that I'm allowed to stop, but I still have capacity. So I'm going to keep going. Or you can say, nope, this was my stopping point. I met my goal, whatever. I had a friend that one time I was at her house and she was like, we're just sitting talking. All of a sudden she opens up her refrigerator and starts dumping out her vegetable bin and her cheese bin. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, and she goes, oh, I need to clean my refrigerator. I was like, we need to leave here in like 30 minutes. You cannot clean your refrigerator. Like, to me, that is a task that will take monumental. You have to take all your food out, clean all the shelves, wipe everything down, put everything, like, that's going to take a while.
Yep.
And she's like, oh no, I just do one drawer at a time. When I have, like, we're going to sit here for 30 minutes while we're eating. So I'm going to take one drawer out, dump it out. And while we're talking, I'm going to wash it and wipe everything down, put it back. And then she's done. And I was like,
Wow.
what? That is the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life, you know? And so I kind of like have tried to apply this to my life when there's those monumental tasks that it feels like I can't even start that because I'll never finish that,
Yeah.
you know? Okay, I'm just going to do the cheese drawer and then I get to stop, you know? I don't know. I think that, and those boundaries really are helpful, you know, to me. But that time is my biggest struggler thing that I struggle with on boundaries. I will say directions to this place, 18 minutes. And so I will work on something until 18 minutes before I'm supposed to be there. And I forgot to add in the time to walk to the car and get in and to park and to go in. And then I'm late. And then I'm a people pleaser too. And then I feel terrible that I disrespected somebody's time. And then I'm like, oh, so it backfires on us, you know? And so I know we're all just such a work in progress, but I think that the boundaries book is really cool. The subtitle on it is When to Say Yes, How to Say No, and How to Take Control of Your Life. And I think sometimes there's another really cool story having to do with Mia that one of my girlfriends, we got to be really close. And she said, she was also a foster parent. And she's like, you know, I have a confession. She's like, you know, her husband at the time was a doctor. And she's like, they called us about Mia and they wanted us to take her. But she's like, I had just had a baby and my husband said she was going to die, that, you know, there's no way that she would live. And she goes, emotionally, I just didn't think I could do it. And we said no to Mia.
I didn't know that. Sorry. I know that's so I'm like,
yeah. And and I said, that's okay. I said, you were supposed to say no to her.
Yeah.
So she felt like it was saying she was unloving to me and to Mia by saying no, when actually, and I said, you know, Mia was always supposed to be my daughter. And if you had said yes, it would have only caused something to get in the way, to take longer for Mia to get to me, you know, and to our family. And so sometimes the most loving thing you can do is put up a boundary.
Yeah.
And say no.
Just say no.
Yeah. And I think that's really hard, especially for women, to say no. And accept that in your mind as that's actually an act of love for me to tell you no.
Yeah, someone said something. Go ahead.
Well, just sometimes the most like heartbreaking decisions that you have to make are where you really find your boundaries and where you're like, nope, this is really important to me, sticking to this wholeheartedly, and it hurts, but I have to make this decision. And I think we've all experienced that, and those are where the greatest lessons and blessings and everything kind of comes from. So just be strong.
Yeah.
I met a lady named Polly, and she's a like spiritual healer. She said something to me and I was just like, oh my God, like, wow. And she said, which I'm not going to say it correctly, but she said something along the lines of, you have to, when someone bothers you or when someone does something that you're not okay with, you have to put up that boundary and choose to either not be around them anymore or tell them that it bothers you and that they need to stop. Because if you don't, not only are you hurting yourself, but you're hurting them. and you're hindering their growth by not setting your boundary. And I was like, whoa, that makes a lot of sense. So you caring so much about that person is hindering their growth. So you need to not care, which is impossible for me to do. But
Right. People pleasers.
Well, it is. If you do care, you're just switching up the way that you're showing that care to other people. And
Right.
like I run into that same thing with friends. It's like, well, I didn't say anything because I didn't want to upset you. It's like, okay, like we're friends. We've been friends for almost 10 years.
Yeah. It's like letting a kid touch a hot
And
stove.
we're going to get through it and we're going to set those boundaries. But I agree, when you like play it safe and you don't want to like hurt anyone's feelings, or you can't step in your own power to like tell someone how you feel, it's doing a disservice to everyone.
Situation. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Great.
definitely experience that as well.
Definitely. Well, I just really appreciate you ladies joining us. I'm super excited about doing the boundary study with everybody. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Well, you guys can check out in the description below. Like I said, the very top line is the link to join the Telegram group. So we'll all be in there kind of daily-ish. There's no schedule or anything. Everyone will set their own schedule with their own boundaries. But, if you're going through the study, I downloaded each page from the workbook so you can print those off or scan them or use them or look at them, read over them, whatever. And then if you're having those discussion questions with somebody who needs another perspective, ask in the Telegram group. Let's have that be an active discussion where we're really fleshing that out with each other. And then we'll do, in a month, we'll do a review of the whole thing in a live Zoom. That's just for the Telegram group. And we can do that together. And I've got an account that I can hold like up to 100 people that can be live all at once.
Awesome.
So it'll be fun for everybody to engage and ask questions and be able to share their experiences of, what they learned about themselves. Because that's really what this is. This is really a journey within for us to grow and share with each other. So any final parting words? Amy, can you tell us where people can find you and connect with you?
Oh, yeah. I'm on Telegram as well. I think it's at the Amy C. Weir. Or there's the Raw Food Reboot, raw21reboot.com. That's my raw food website. Or just through Road to Ruta, Amy at roadtoruta.com.
Perfect. And Paige, can you let everybody know where they can connect with you?
Yes, the only real place right now is just through Road to Ruta, and my email is paige@roadtoruta.com. And if you have crypto questions or precious metals questions, send them my way. I will try to point you in the right direction.
Awesome. Carly, let everybody know where they can find you.
My name, Carly. Oh, inverted, sorry. And then it's carly.fitsta, Fitsta.
On Instagram mostly.
Or TikTok. But those are, I'm sorry, I'm not a Twitter, Facebook person, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. I don't have any of the handles yet, so.
Well, everybody can have their boundaries with that. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Once again, thanks for joining me, and I hope you guys will all consider joining us in the Telegram group. And this is free. This is about community. This is about growing together and being stronger and better together, and raising our consciousness together. So hope all of you will join us. Yeah.
Thank you so much for putting this together. I'm very excited. Everyone go join the Telegram and this awesome group that Lisa started.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for getting all this together.
Yes. Thank you so much, Lisa.
I love it. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you guys next Monday. Take care.